All right, viewers, those are the headlines and our top focus. Iranian Foreign Minister Seyed Abbas Araghchi has stated that the recent Cairo agreement with the International Atomic Energy Agency can no longer serve as basis for cooperation. He has now cited the enforcement of the UN snapback mechanism as a factor that has changed circumstances and complicated diplomacy. The September agreement has established a new framework for IAEA inspections requiring approval from Iran's Supreme National Security Council. Now, the Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi has warned that the snapback mechanism triggered by Britain, France and Germany in August would only hinder negotiations and make diplomacy more challenging. He has reiterated that Iran has not sought nuclear weapons nor escalation and that diplomacy remains the only viable path to resolving the nuclear issue. Listen in to what he had to say.
خب الان این اهرم رو به کار گرفتن و نتیجهش رو هم دیدن. هیچ اتفاقی نیفتاد که بتونه مشکلی رو حل بکنه و صرفاً دیپلماسی رو سخت‌تر و پیچیده‌تر کرده. فکر می‌کنم یک تجربه ثابت شده هست که هیچ راه حلی به جز یک راه حل دیپلماتیک مذاکره شده در خصوص برنامه هسته ایران.
With us on the broadcast is Mr. Yossi Kupawasser, Israeli intelligence and security expert, joining us from Tel Aviv. Quite a statement has been put out by the Iranian foreign minister with regards to the September agreement inked in Cairo with the IAEA. It is crucial that this international body inspects Iran's nuclear ambitions and nuclear sites. What do you think are the implications now that Iran has stated that this deal with IAEA is invalid? What sort of mechanism would now be followed to monitor Iran's nuclear program?
Well, first of all, good morning and thank you for having me. Well, I think that we shouldn't be too much impressed by these Iranian threats. Iran did not cooperate with the IAEA before the snapback. It has been cheating the IAEA for years now. Unlike what they're saying that they were not trying to achieve nuclear weapons, the truth was that they had a very active military nuclear weapons program, and that was destroyed in June by Israel and the United States. And so we don't have to take Araghchi's threats at face value. It's just an attempt to threaten the international community so that they will give up the sanctions against Iran, because these sanctions are putting a lot of pressure on the Iranian regime. The economic situation in Iran is bad anyhow, and with these sanctions it's going to get even worse. The Iranian rial is falling and collapsing. And they are trying through threats to save what they can from their economy. But this is not going to work because nobody believes Araghchi, not the Europeans, not the Americans, not the IAEA itself. The International Atomic Energy Agency itself said that they cannot buy the story that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon program. So that's where we stand. And what needs to happen is for Iran to accept what is expected from it to allow the inspectors to have full access to everything in Iran and to give guarantees that they are not going to be involved in a project to acquire nuclear weapons in the future. And first and foremost, to give up the idea that they would have the ability to enrich uranium to any level.
Indeed, and speaking about the snapback sanctions in itself, what impact would this have on the Iranian economy? Would this isolate Iran even further?
Of course it will, because this means that some of the money that the Iranians have in Western countries is going to be taken by the local authorities, and the Iranians are not going to be able to use it. And there are other steps that are mainly focused on preventing Iran from having the capability to produce nuclear weapons and to enrich uranium and to move forward on other military projects. So this is all going to put more pressure on Iran, and I hope that the Iranians will understand that there's no other option but to accept the demands of the international community.
In fact, earlier, after the US strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites, Iran had threatened to pull out of the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. Do you think they would go ahead with this step now?
This is an empty threat. They do not cooperate with the NPT anyhow. In spite of them being signatories to the NPT, they actually were moving towards having a nuclear weapon, just the opposite of what the NPT is demanding from them. These are cheaters, professional cheaters, and we should not be impressed by their threats. If they want to leave the NPT, they can leave the NPT. They were never real members of the NPT. They did exactly the opposite of what the NPT was demanding them to do. They did not declare all kinds of facilities that they had. They didn't declare about uranium and enriched uranium that they had. They breached the NPT every morning. So threatening to leave the NPT is a very strange threat coming